Hey, it's Sela Social Studies.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sela Social Studies. Today we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court case Plessy v. Ferguson. After the Compromise of 1877, otherwise known as the Great Betrayal, Jim Crow laws took over the southern states. What would be the results if someone had challenged these laws in the court of law? In stepped Homer Plessy. Plessy challenged the system in what is now known as the Plessy V Ferguson Supreme Court case. African Americans in the United States felt that Jim Crow laws violated the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that provided equal protection under the law. Civil rights groups and citizen groups were established in the South to fight for the eradication of Jim Crow segregation. Homer Plessy was a member of one of these citizens groups. Homer Plessy was a man who had an African American blood in his ancestry. He was said to have been able to present as a white man. However, in the 1800s, if you had any colored blood in your ancestry, you were considered colored. Now the question was, what could Plessy do that would allow him to have a case in the judicial system? In 1892, as a challenge to Louisiana's Separate Car Act, Homer Plessy purchased a train ticket for the whites-only train car. He was testing the equal but separate accommodation law that had been put in place years earlier. Since he looked white, he was sold the ticket without any issues. After the train had left the station, Plessy had been asked for his ticket. He responded that he was 1/8 African American. The train employee kicked Plessy off of the train, where he was immediately arrested. Law enforcement stated that Plessy broke the law because Jim Crow laws stated that Plessy should have rode in the coloreds-only train car. Plessy stated that Jim Crow laws violated the 14th Amendment to the Constitution that said all citizens were to receive equal protection under the law, no matter the color of their skin. The state courts argued that Plessy and other colored African Americans did receive equal treatment, that they were just separate. On May 18, 1896, the Supreme Court of the United States upheld the conviction that Plessy was in violation of Jim Crow laws. The court ruled that the 14th Amendment did not say that colored people did not have the right to the same facilities as whites, just equal facilities. The ruling suggested that whites and colored people could not share train cars. With this ruling, the Supreme Court created the separate but equal doctrine. The issue at hand was that the facilities were always separate, but very rarely were they equal. This ruling set the stage for 58 years of de jure segregation until overturned by Brown v. the Board of Education, Topeka, Kansas in 1959. To finish off this section, we're going to go over a couple of excerpts from the decision. Laws permitting and even requiring their separation of blacks and whites in places where they are liable to be brought into contact do not necessarily imply the inferiority of either race to the other, and have been generally, if not universally, recognized as within the competency of the state legislatures in the exercise of their police power. The most common instance of this is connected with the establishment of separate schools for whites and colored children, which had been held to be a valid exercise of the legislative power even by the courts of states where the political rights of the colored race had been longest and most earnestly enforced. We think the enforced separation of the races neither abridges the privileges or immunities of the colored man, deprives him of his property without due process of law, nor denies him the equal protection of the laws within the meaning of the 14th Amendment. That was the ruling given down by Justice Henry Brown, majority opinion in Plessy v. Ferguson, 1896. I'll see you next time.